Olá pessoal, nesse vídeo tem uma história muito interessante para passar para vocês, que eu conheci uma moça, já faz um tempinho atrás, em que ela tem uma história de superação e recomeços muito forte. Então eu conheci ela já faz uns 3 meses, e essa moça, ela foi Miss Saigon, no Vietnã, em 1970. E depois disso o que aconteceu foi que ela foi uma refugiada da guerra. Ela saiu do Vietnã e foi para os Estados Unidos com a família inteira em um barco. E depois disso várias coisas aconteceram. Ela se tornou um agente especial do FBI e depois ela foi para Bangkok e criou um restaurante lá. Então, para qualquer pessoa que está começando um empreendimento novo, que é um recomeço muito bacana, ou aquelas pessoas que tiveram algumas coisas negativas no passado, esse vídeo é bom para a gente repensar e deixar algumas coisas para trás e recomeçar. Então eu espero que vocês gostem bastante desse vídeo, foi feito com muito carinho. Eu sou Marcos Lucas, nômade digital, empreendedor digital e alguns projetos que eu tenho pela internet. Vocês vão conhecer mais nesse site libertaçãodigital.com. Vejo você em breve. So, hi guys, this is Marcus and I'm here with someone that's very special. Her name is Meyung and she has like amazing stories, and I met her at a conference and she had the best presentation ever. That's because of her story, and she can teach us like so much stuff about entrepreneurship, about life, and she was a beauty queen before. Like how did it happen?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time to come and allow me to tell a little bit of my story. And greetings from Bangkok.
Her story is fascinating because she was an FBI agent and now she has a restaurant in Bangkok. And that's like very weird for a lot of people. It's difficult to resonate. That's why it's so fascinating.
Right.
Like, so which year was that you became a beauty queen in Vietnam?
Well, let's go back a little and do a little history, so background history, so people can understand better. Well, I was born and raised in Vietnam, and my father was a very high-ranking general in the South Vietnamese Army and Director General of the Vietnamese Police. So I had a very privileged youth, growing up in Vietnam. Our family has like 3 sisters and 2 brothers, and the sisters enrolled in like very exclusive French school.
Oh, okay.
And so it was in my last year of high school. And one of my teacher, first of all, we learned French, so our total education was in French. And then yes, in French.
Wow.
Yeah. So in other words, I learned about the history, the geography, the politics, everything about France, but not about Vietnam.
Wow.
So like a couple hours a week, we would have like a Vietnamese like lesson, just like a second language. So my teacher happened to be one of the organizer of like a beauty contest, the very first one in Vietnam, because we were in the middle of the war, and so she said, why don't you join the beauty contest? And little did I know that I was crowned by the wife of the Prime Minister.
So it was like out of nowhere?
Out of
like
nowhere. Out of nowhere. She was a teacher in home economics. And so she was teaching us how to stitch Vietnamese dress. And she said, just go and see how it is. And, just like fresh eyes. I just said, okay, let me go and have fun. So I was very lucky.
That explains a lot about, because most people, they have like so many barriers in their mind and doing different stuff, and it seems like your life was that, like beauty queen, then you went to be an FBI agent. Like how did this transition happen to you?
Well, most of the things that happening in my life is like almost by accident. And very happy accident, in other words. And so, and then in 1975, the war, ended, so to speak, between the North and the South. And so we left Vietnam on a boat, and we became like boat people, my entire family. And so we settled in Long Island, New York, and 1979. I graduated from the college, from State University of New York, and finished my degree of political science. And then I worked there for 5 years, and 1984 I joined the FBI.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
just like that.
How did it happen? Like,
well,
someone invite you?
it happened.
Like...
Well, actually, I was like among, I would say, like the first wave of Vietnamese people, and for a while I was doing some translation work, just translating like magazines. So I was doing some like part-time work, at that time, as I was working at the State University also as an assistant registrar at the university. And a friend of mine just introduced me to someone and said, just do some translation work from Vietnamese to English. And so I get to know this person, and he happened to be an FBI agent.
Wow.
Out of the New York office. And our friendship just developed, and it's just like a natural course, and then like in 1981, 3 years before I joined the FBI, he asked me, "You be happy to have like a full-time job as a interpreter, translator with the FBI?" I said, "Hey, that sounds good, because then, in a way I can get to repay the kindness of the American people to give me like a roof on my head, when I had no home. And also I wanted to help the Vietnamese people in the US. At that time we had like at least like 1 million of Vietnamese people in there. So I thought maybe some of them would get in trouble and would need help, and I would be, a voice to do a little difference and help my own people and repay the American people at the same time." And so I applied to join the FBI, and I had to wait for like 3.5 years, and nothing happened because of my case. I was born and raised in Vietnam. I had really hardly any proof to prove myself, and also you need to be an American citizen. So I had just gotten my American citizenship at the time. So I said, well, let me, try something different and apply for interpreter. And so 3.5 years passed and nothing happened, and nobody called me. So I decided, okay, well, I'm tired of waiting. So, just check in the application form, see what else I signed for. I signed up on the application. There was a spot, it says FBI special agent. I had no idea what special agent entails. So I ticked that off. So I said, is there any other box that I signed? They said, okay, we're FBI agent. So I said, okay, well, check me out for that. So a month later, they called me to join.
You're probably like one of the first Vietnamese people to join the FBI at that time.
The first person.
First person ever.
Male or
history.
female.
Wow.
Joining the FBI as special agent.
Well, I think that's very interesting about you, because like you tried doing things in the first time, like breaking the first barrier to like let other people get inspired by you.
Yes. So when I left the FBI office in Minnesota to become the very first Asian female working as a diplomat for the FBI at the U.S. Embassy, American Embassy here in Bangkok. The Pioneer Press, which is like one of the oldest newspaper in the U.S., just put me down as FBI agent forging her own path. So it looks like everything I do, I'm like always the first one, which is in a way is good, because then I don't have to follow any big footstep.
Yeah.
So I can
if
just,
not, I wouldn't be here too.
they can't compare me with anyone. So.
Yeah. That's amazing. And like, how did you come from a beauty queen, FBI agent, to like having your restaurant in Bangkok?
Right. Well, so I actually spent like 20 years with the FBI, and then I decided, well, let me retire when I'm entitled to retire, and I wanted to try something else. And I didn't mean to open this restaurant, so as soon as I retired, the Target Corporation in the US, they created a brand new job for me in Bangkok. As the security manager for 18 for their offices in 18 countries in Asia. So I was in charge of all of the Target security matters in Asia. And I was happy in a way, and then someone, talked me into being an investor, and like invest in a little restaurant, and then the lady, my ex-partner, is supposed to be the main chef, and I'm supposed to be the investor. And so I put my money in there, and then we had a huge fight on the opening night. And the chef walked away, and I was just left there. So I had to manage my own shop or lose my money. So at that time, I was still working full time for Target Corporation, and then like a few months later, we got like the very first like article in the Nation newspaper. And from then on, everything is history.
National
because the Nation Bangkok newspaper.
Okay.
And when the article came out, it says like recommended by the FBI, and oh my God, like we had people like lining outside the restaurant waiting to get in, and me in the kitchen like pulling my hair out because I really didn't know what to do.
Wow.
And then it got to be too much, so I just had to resign from the Target, job and be full-time chef.
It's amazing because like we see a lot of lessons like along your story, and it's nice to share that.
Right.
One of them is like not being scared or afraid of trying to be the first one.
Yes. The thing that I want to share and I wanted to convey to the audience is that having been a refugee, meaning losing all your identity, losing your country, losing everything that's dear to you, is almost like a reset. And then you so open to changes, to like relocation, to new things, and it just like it changed a person's mentality totally. And I think that out of a way that losing my country and losing my identity and my home and everything, I gained that perspective.
Wow.
Yeah, some people, for example, like my parents or the older generation, they lose their country and they could never recover, and they just always live in the past. But a lot of us, like younger people, it seems like, it was like a great motivation. I wouldn't recommend anyone to lose a country, but it was just a great motivation to start anew. And also, it taught me in a way that, whatever I do, I have to excel because I might not have another chance to do it again, So I think that's a great lesson for me.
Can I share something about my story too? There was the first time when I went abroad from my country. I was born in Brazil. I was in the Philippines, and I was taking showers from a cold bucket. And I tell people that like I was taking shower, it was really cold, but I had to do it. And like my friends were like, "Oh, are you crazy?" It's like, no, it was a great experience because like
Exactly.
now if I have like almost nothing, I can handle.
Right.
And getting out of the comfort zone, like trying to excel, like
Yes.
as you said.
Yes. So it's just like it forced you to get out of your shell, and you're not even afraid. Like, for example, like, I uprooted my children from the U.S. to come here to Thailand. In 1995. And single-handedly, I had a hard job to do at the U.S. Embassy, and I also take care of my children, and we had no Thai. We didn't speak a word of Thai when we came here. And look, my children are the most rounded kids right now that you can think of, and so they keep thanking mom for doing that for them. So it's great, so try to see if you can like get out of your shell and start something new. And it's so exciting because the world is not just like within the four walls of your own home. Just go beyond it and
So
find
like
it out.
travel, I think like one of the tips is like travel. Try like get experiences.
Don't be afraid to try something new.
One of my close friends is like, "Oh, Mark's like it seems so easy for you," and like it's not. I took like so many risks, and I done like a lot of stuff that normal people wouldn't.
Exactly.
So like just like get out of the comfort zone. Like she knows it. Do you have like?
Yeah, I am a living proof of
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
try and win. Sometimes you don't win, sometimes you lose, but you always learn something positive out of, like a loss, out of like some failure. Yeah.
And one of the things like you were saying before about your partner that you guys had a fight,
Right.
and you had to do by yourself. I have some students and some friends that have like businesses, and like one of the biggest mistakes is like relying too much on a partner that you don't really know, or like don't know how committed they are. So I always tell people, like, have a plan B, have a backup plan, or like you do by yourself, just make it happen.
Right.
Like, what do you have to share on that?
This is my huge advice to anyone who starts, like, who thinks about doing some, new business, new venture or something. For example, if you go into the restaurant business, be sure that you know how to cook.
Yes.
Or you know how to run the kitchen, or you know how to manage, because you will be taken hostage by people that you hire. So, someday they just walk out, just like my ex-partner walk out. And luckily for me that I already, knew how to cook from my background,
and it's
that
delicious.
was like my hobby. And so I was able to just use that resource and save myself, So it's very, very important. If you say, like, you open a shop, whatever, for example, like a computer shop, you better know a thing or two about computer. You open a restaurant, you better know a thing or two, or otherwise you just go in bankrupt.
Yeah, and even like partners can like steal from, depending on the country. Like third world countries like Brazil, I had a friend of mine from Kenya, and she was saying like double check your partners in those countries, because like you need to be strong enough to handle anything.
Yeah. Oh my God, I had a story of a friend of mine who was really a celebrated chef in Bangkok, and then he went to another country and opened a Vietnamese restaurant. And the restaurant had just gone bankrupt within 2 years.
Wow.
Because this chef, even though he was like executive chef and he had really good training, but the cuisine that he was trained on is not Vietnamese. And not everyone can, have a knack about doing, the cuisine that you're supposed to sell the food. And customers, they know.
Wow. And I want to ask you like one last question. We could be talking here for hours, because like it's so pleasant to talk to her. How did you manage to get so much PR?
Well, like I said, the very first article was on The Nation, and
did you have like did you put any effort to get the article done, or like was mouth to mouth? What happened there?
Well, I tell you, I've been in this business for like 8 years. I have never ever asked or put out a word, to advertise for myself. So it started from word of mouth. And then the first article, the lady that came to interview me, instead of asking me about the food, she asked about my background with the FBI. So the title says it all, recommended by the FBI. And from then on, like the news media, they read each other. And it's just like a chain reaction. And now I must say that I have like a reputation that extends beyond Thailand.
What would you say was the importance of storytelling for the PR of your restaurant? That was like what make it big, right? Like all your background is not like, of course the food is really delicious.
Yes.
But like the background makes it more like magical, right?
Exactly. First of all, you have to have the product. If the product is not good, no matter you are like a very famous executive chef or whatever, but if the product doesn't sell, there's nothing you can do. So I am, like I said, I'm so fortunate that I have a very, I would say, special background, like Vietnamese refugee, then made it, good with U.S. law enforcement and come back and, doing. So my background is quite interesting, and is quite I would say, a good selling point for my business. So I'm thankful.
I'm gonna ask you like some more questions. Like I don't want to take like too much of your time. And the first time that I met her, like she is like such a friendly person, like so nice. And it's interesting because a lot of people, they get so stuck up and they have like so much ego. In my case, I have like more than 1,000 clients, and we need to be nice to each other, right? Like, do you believe in this like energy of like helping, and people gonna help you back, or like?
Sure. I would say, be yourself. Be yourself, and the more people think that they are big, the more insecure they are. Know yourself first, and then just like be yourself and however you do, if you know you're going up, you're always on the way down. Once you know you're on, so life is a cycle, So don't ever take anything for granted. Don't ever take, say like your wealth or your, like your renown, the reputation, whatever, for granted, because it will all crash down. So I learned a very big lesson in my life, and so I hope that I don't come across as stuck up or having a big ego or whatever, But like I said, it doesn't hurt to be friendly. Smile doesn't cost anything. Just do it.
Okay, I'd like to thank her, but before, it's a bit difficult for me to pronounce the name of a restaurant.
Xuan Mai. Xuan Mai is a spring flower. It's a very it's almost like a national flower in the south of Vietnam. So it's a yellow flower, and that is also the name of my daughter. So I use Xuan Mai as my restaurant.
So if you guys come to Bangkok, it's more than recommended. You guys come here. The food's delicious. I tried before. And she's lovely, she's gonna be talking to you as much as she can.
Well, if I have time, if I don't have to take care of customers.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Well, thank you, Mark. Thank you for your time.